Welcome back on this Monday morning. I'm so very sorry. We're starting things over here. It is 6:55 and it is Monday. Today, a group of Texans against President Donald Trump's budget bill will meet with the U.S. Senator from Texas, John Cornyn. They're arguing the senator to vote against it. They say the bill will hurt the middle class and raise the national debt while giving tax breaks to the rich. Opponents say the bill could cut funding to Medicaid and SNAP food assistance while also rolling back clean energy initiatives. A version of the bill has already passed the House. Republican leaders in the Senate hope to pass it by July 4th.
Camels were spotted at the Alamo. The Texas Camel Corps brought them out yesterday to teach visitors why the United States Army used camels back in the day. Now, according to the Corps, camels were used to get from place to place in the Texas heat without needing a lot of water. The camels that worked at the Alamo were stationed at Camp Verde, a little over 60 miles away. Here's proof anyone can make a difference, even in the heat of summer. A tubing spot in San Marcos, Don's Fish Camp, helping keep the river clean. This past week, they dropped off, get this, 800 pounds of recycled cans. Look at all those cans. 68 garbage bags filled to the brim. So even if you're just out having a good time at the river, you can make a difference by helping to keep the waterways clean this summer.
Oh, I love to see it. We got to take care of the precious water we still have. It is 6:56 and we are taking a live look out across the area. Here's I-35 at 183. And you know what? Still looking pretty good out there as we are kind of heading into this Monday rush here. And also good news, one of the two crashes on Palmer in North Austin have cleared up. So now we're just left with this one on Harris Branch Parkway at Palmer Lane. But other than that, still pretty quiet out there. And of course, our typical slowdowns coming in from South Austin. Casey, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Yeah, you said Friday earlier on. I was like, that's wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking, I know.
No, we're kicking off a whole new week here, but we've got what's going to be a pretty similar weather forecast. Tuesday, Wednesday, those will be your days featuring the best opportunities for some rain. Highs in the middle and upper 90s, and will be drier by Friday and the weekend.
All right, thanks for joining us this morning.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KVUE Plus app everywhere you stream.
All right, good Monday morning. Thanks for being with us on Daybreak Plus here on KVUE Plus, streaming for free right on your television. I'm Brian Mays.
And I'm Hannah Rucker, and Casey is also joining us. Yvonne is on summer vacation this week, but we are just starting off strong, thinking it's Friday when it's really Monday. And, you know, you guys know how it goes.
Gotta have a Friday attitude every day, right, Casey?
Oh, I like that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to look at
There
it.
you
Yeah,
go.
we're still in Monday mode, but Friday mode, and we're heading into it's going to be kind of this similar forecast this week compared to what we had this weekend, which hopefully you did enjoy that. We had highs in the middle 90s. We were warm, we were humid, and we had just a couple spotty showers for some areas. We had one of those past the Austin area yesterday afternoon, but otherwise we were pretty quiet. Temperatures out the door, low to middle and upper 70s. We're muggy to start yet again, and as we take a look out across our radar, we're also currently dealing with a pretty dry start to the day as well. We've got these quiet conditions that are set to prevail as we head into what will be the remainder of today. There is our radar, and as we take a zoomed out look, here we go, clicker's back and working. We've got a couple showers out across West Texas, but elsewhere, Central Texas quiet, up through the Dallas area quiet, and all the way down through areas like the coast currently dry. We don't have much in the way of anything very active today. We'll be looking at a couple passing clouds. Wouldn't quite rule out a stray shower by this afternoon. Much like yesterday, it'll be just a couple lucky communities that'll get a quick little shower pass on through, especially after 2-3 o'clock, but most of us will be dry. 96 degrees for high temperature today. That is just a degree shy of what we had yesterday, which is a high of 97 degrees, and a couple degrees above average still for this time of year. Some changes arrive Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to be tracking a little bit of a higher chance to see some isolated showers, possibly even some storms. I'll show you why that is coming up in just a bit, but right now we're going to check in on that morning commute with Hannah.
Let's do it. Happy Monday. Hasn't turned into a manic Monday just yet on my end. Things are looking really good out there. Maybe everyone's just kind of sleeping in from the weekend. And here is I-35 at 183 just to show you, still looking really good across the area. Some minor slowdowns along I-35 to be expected, but no major collisions at this time, aside from this incident a little bit earlier, which is a whole lot better than 2 different crashes on Palmer. We now just have one at Harris Branch Parkway at Palmer Lane, but that other incident near Yeager cleared up here in the last 30 minutes. So good to see that. Still seeing stop and go approaching William Cannon, but really not too bad there today. And you can see coming in from Buda pretty clear until you get to that little trouble spot there. Also still monitoring a little bit of a slowdown if you are heading from Cedar Creek, heading towards Mustang Ridge on Camino Real, approaching 183. But 183 is looking pretty good today if you are heading north out there. But Manor also seeing some slowdowns on 290, that little trouble spot in the westbound lanes, 43 miles per hour right now.
Hannah, thank you very much for that. It is 7:04. You're watching Daybreak Plus, of course. The deadline for Texas Governor Greg Abbott to veto bills from the 89th legislative session has now come and gone. And just before the midnight deadline last night, he vetoed Senate Bill 3. That would have banned all THC products in the state of Texas. He vetoed the bill, though, late last night and then immediately called a special session for this summer. Right now, KVUE's Jessica Cha is live near the state capitol. And Jessica, a lot of speculation from people about what the governor would do with this. And now we know the veto has been made and the special session has been called.
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This decision comes as a little bit of a surprise to many, as Governor Abbott remained silent on the issue for the entirety of the legislative session. Like you said, now he is calling on lawmakers to revise the bill and create stricter regulations around this intoxicating substance. Now, in a statement explaining his veto, Abbott argued that SB 3 would not have survived addressing the legal challenges it would have faced if passed. He said lawsuits would have postponed the enforcement of the bill for years. So instead, he urges lawmakers to consider creating stricter regulations similar to how alcohol is enforced in order to keep THC products away from children. KV spoke to local THC sellers last night who are worried about closing their doors, losing employees, and the people who rely on their products for medical conditions.
Our economy is not where it should be. The sales of the THCA products and hemp-derived products that I carry have definitely taken me out of the tight point that came when our stock market crashed, and not having it will definitely be, possibly a fatal blow.
This is serious business.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who's led the charge on banning THC products, citing it as a public safety issue, condemned Abbott's decision shortly after the bill was vetoed. In a statement he posted to social media, he said, quote, "I feel especially bad for those who testified and poured their hearts out on their tragic losses. I will have much more to say at a press conference tomorrow in Austin," unquote. Now, Abbott plans to call lawmakers back to the Capitol for that special session beginning July 21st, with THC regulation at the top of the agenda. But there are still no details to when Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick will hold that press conference later today. And we'll have more information for you and update you on KVUE.com when we can. But yeah, this is not over. This is still going.
Still going on. A lot of people were curious to see how he would handle that. He had three choices. He could veto it, which he did. He could not do anything, let it pass. Or, of course, he could have signed it. He chose the veto, and we'll see where it goes from here. Jessica Shaw, live for us at the state capitol. Thanks, Jessica. Some of the other bills the governor did sign this weekend include Senate Bill 31. That clarifies when doctors can perform an abortion under the state's near total abortion ban. It's known as the Life of the Mother Act. That takes effect immediately. Then there's Senate Bill 17. That bill bans Texas land sales to people from some foreign countries. Senate Bill 1596 removes short barrel guns from the state's list of prohibited weapons. House Bill 46 will expand the Texas Compassionate Use Program. That's the state's medical marijuana program. And then Senate Bill 11 will allow for voluntary prayer or Bible reading in public and charter schools in the state of Texas. Now to the escalating fallout from the U.S. strikes on Iran that happened over the weekend. President Donald Trump says the damage from the strikes monumental. As ABC's Nicole D'Antonio reports, there are concerns the conflict between Israel and Iran could continue to grow.
This morning, the Department of Homeland Security warning of a heightened threat environment in the United States following the attack against Iran's nuclear facilities over the weekend. In a bulletin issued just after Israel began attacks on Iran, the Department of Homeland Security warns that low-level cyber attacks against U.S. networks are likely. ABC's Pierre Thomas on This Week.
The networks mentioned involve U.S. infrastructure, the energy sector, the electrical grid, financial sector. The bulletin urged infrastructure officials to immediately assess their security to make sure their defenses were strong enough to block any malicious activity by Iran.
Concerns are also growing about the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial global shipping lane for oil, with Iran threatening to block shipping. New video this morning shows the moment the U.S. struck one of 3 key nuclear sites in Iran. Explosions heard in the distance as a fireball lights up the night sky. On Saturday, about a dozen B-2 bombers took off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri for Operation Midnight Hammer. Nearly half of the aircrafts were considered a decoy group heading west towards Guam with trackable movements. A short time later, another group flying in secret took off in the opposite direction, heading to Iran. The planes dropping 14 massive ordnance penetrator bombs capable of penetrating deep underground. The fallout of the strike raising questions of what comes next.
No, we're not at war with Iran, John. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program. We want Iran to give up their nuclear weapons program peacefully.
President Trump now appearing to entertain the idea of a regime change in Iran, posting on social media, "If the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change?" And today, President Trump is scheduled to meet with his national security team in the Oval Office. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Back here in the Lone Star State, members of Congress backing the United States decision to strike in Iran. Congressman Pete Sessions, who represents parts of Williamson County, including Round Rock, says he supports the move. Sessions claims Israel backed Iran into a corner and says the U.S. was right to step in and finish the job. He's not concerned about the strike sparking a wider war.
Our air superiority does not mean that we have to come in and put boots on the ground. I think that what will happen is that our goal should be to end the nuclear bomb threat that they have against the United States, against the rest of the free world.
Last week, we spoke with Congressman Lloyd Doggett, who was part of a bipartisan push urging the president not to strike without congressional approval. Congressman Doggett backed a resolution calling on the president to seek approval from lawmakers before committing forces in Iran. Governor Greg Abbott says he's raising the state's readiness level amid all the international tension. In a statement over the weekend, the governor said, quote, Texas is elevating the readiness of our Texas Department of Public Safety troopers and Texas National Guard, increasing patrols around high-risk locations and ensuring our state is fully prepared to address any threat, end quote.
And today, Austin police are searching for whoever is responsible for a death in southeast Austin early Sunday morning. A man was found on the ground near the gas station. APD officials only said he's in his 20s, so minimal information, and no one's been arrested so far. Officers responded to a call from Wickersham Lane and East Riverside Drive. That's near South Pleasant Valley Road. And like Travis ISD officials say, they're seeing an uptick in positive drug tests among students. That's according to the district's most recent annual drug testing report. Any student involved in UIL activities, athletics, or fine arts can be tested along with students with high school parking permits. A private firm randomly selects students for testing. In the last school year, more than 3,200 students were enrolled in the program. 754 ended up being selected and tested. 40 came back positive. Out of the 40 tests that came back positive, 37 students were found to be using nicotine, marijuana, or both. One tested positive for amphetamines and another student tested for opiates. One student declined to take the test, leading to an automatic failure. Officials say the first time a student tests positive for drug use, they'll be suspended from competitions or performances for 14 days. They'll also have to attend counseling sessions and complete community service. And happening now, members of a Texas legal advocacy group are calling for the release of a man who's facing deportation. The Texas Civil Rights Project filed a writ of habeas corpus on behalf of a man who's been in ICE custody in South Texas for nearly 2 years. Vincent Jobo was initially here on a visa to play rugby in Austin and Louisiana, but Jobo's visa lapsed and he was taken into ICE custody in October 2023. Well, a judge ordered him to be deported a year later, but he has remained at a detention center near San Antonio with no plans to deport or release him. Attorneys have filed a writ of habeas corpus to look into the legality of his situation.
You know, I think Vincent's case is an example of the limbo that we trap immigrants in and how that limbo is expanding substantially right now, especially in Texas, which has the most number of immigration detention beds than any other state.
Jobo initially faced a local human smuggling charge out in Kenny County in 2023, but officials now confirm they rejected that case. His attorneys say he let his passport expire and officials can't find his fingerprints in the system, and South Africa, where he's originally from, won't take him back, leaving him in legal limbo. KVUE reached out to ICE for updates, but so far there's been no response. And over the weekend, an education nonprofit hosted a Know Your Rights session. Organizers with Hands Off Central Texas say they want to educate people on what you can and cannot do at protests, rallies, and marches. There was de-escalation training, a session there from Sun Dragon Martial Arts. Local lawyers spoke, and an Austin street medic also taught people what not to wear to protests.
It gets on your clothing, it gets in your skin. And in that way, where we as street medics come in, if we can get that person from that direct contact into a safe place where we can treat that person and try to decontaminate them, we can still get affected by that secondary exposure. So we want to try to get them clean. So that can be like getting those clothes off. So I would highly recommend, if you are going to deploy, maybe don't wear your favorite jeans and boots like that.
Street medics say if someone gets hurt during a protest, they ask demonstrators to work with them to get help to a safe place for treatment. And a pretrial hearing is scheduled for the truck driver accused of causing a deadly crash involving a school bus in Bastrop County. Jerry Hernandez is facing charges for negligent homicide for the crash that killed a 5-year-old student on a Hayes CISD school bus, a 33-year-old man in a separate vehicle. There's the young boy, and then here's the photo following of the 33-year-old. There he is. Hernandez allegedly admitted to using cocaine the night before the crash and was on just 3 hours of sleep. Well, today's hearing is scheduled for 1:30 this afternoon. And a major new step forward for self-driving taxis. Tesla has officially rolled out its robo-taxis right here in Austin. Elon Musk is calling it the results of a, quote, decade of hard work.
Tesla's first robo-taxis are officially on the road.
First Tesla robo-taxi ride.
Elon Musk's company launching its long-awaited self-driving taxi service in Austin, Texas, offering rides to a select group. The cost, a flat rate of $4.20 per ride.
There's no driver, there's no ghost person up there.
While they're technically driverless, each car still has a safety monitor, a Tesla employee riding in the passenger seat. For now, the service is limited to a handful of cars in a small area of the city, but Musk has big ambitions, not just for robo-taxis, but for every Tesla.
By the end of next year, we'll have hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million Teslas doing self-driving in the U.S.
Tesla calling this a precursor to the Cybercab, which the company says will go into production next year.
You'll be able to take a ride in the Cybercab. There's no steering wheel or pedals.
Driving development of the self-driving software, artificial intelligence, trained by consuming data from millions of Teslas on the road.
It's like living millions of lives simultaneously and seeing very unusual situations that a person in their entire lifetime would not see.
Musk says the Cybercab and other Teslas could one day be rented out by their owners to make extra money. Tesla taking a first step into a space where other companies are already well ahead. Waymo currently handles 250,000 paid rides a week across multiple cities, and at least 3 other companies are now testing autonomous vehicles. Amazon's autonomous vehicle company Zoox just opened a factory in the San Francisco Bay Area with plans to test its vehicle in Las Vegas this year. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
And this weekend, tens of thousands of esports fans packed the Moody Center for Blast TV's Counter-Strike Major. The 3-day competitive video game tournament finished with a final game, with the winners walking away with money from a prize pool topping $1 million. Blast TV's Andrew Howarth says this event is kind of like the Super Bowl of esports. Teams from all over the world have competed over the last 6 months for a chance to make a name for themselves. Howarth says Team Vitality from France and Team Mongol from Mongolia, and the first Asian team to make it to the quarterfinals. So quite a diverse competition here. Wonderful. And they went head to head playing Counter-Strike 2. He says not only did they sell out 45,000 tickets in 6 hours, there is such an appetite for this, but thousands of people from across the globe tuned in to watch the grand finale.
We've had 95% of the people buying tickets for this travelled from outside of sort of a 200-mile radius of Austin. So that is a huge draw. This is global tickets coming in, globally the best players in the world here. This is a huge event. Really, I use it again. It's the Super Bowl of esports. This is the real pinnacle of the industry.
Organizers expect the competition to have a more than $30 million economic impact for Austin. And who says you can't make friends through video games? Truly,
Right.
It's really cool. And my cousin, he's played video games for years, and he actually met his girlfriend playing a game like this.
Oh,
and they
wow.
met at a little convention. So I'm like, there's love to be found.
Yeah, that's
You
cool.
know?
Did you ever get into the video game thing?
Do you know what Sims is?
Yeah, absolutely.
I played
Absolutely,
Sims. And
yeah.
I create little houses and families, and I liked that. It was like
That's
virtual
fun.
Barbies. So
That's fun, though.
What about you?
You kind of have your own world. Yeah, when I was a kid, it was Atari, 2600. I'm really old, but if we would have had events like that when I was a kid playing, I would have been all in.
Right, and there's
on
money
that.
to be made.
Oh yeah, and like you say, it's an international thing.
Mm-hmm.
They can get on and play with people from other countries. I think it's fantastic. And that many, I didn't know it was that many people. That's crazy. They sold that many tickets.
Within 6 hours, man, it's crazy. People love the games.
I need to start playing more, I guess.
Right? Yeah, we'll just get back to the game. I mean, it's going to be hot enough. Just stay inside and be a
That's
little
right.
gamer. All right,
That's
y'all.
right.
We'll be right back right here on, Kate, where are we? Daybreak Plus?
Daybreak Plus.
Yep. And then we're going to do a little cut in, and then we'll be right back.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes.
It is Monday morning here in Central Texas. Did y'all have a good weekend? I sure hope so. We're taking a look right now at I-35 and 183, and it's pretty quiet out there. A little bit earlier, we had a pretty bad crash in the downtown area that was really causing some congestion near Woodland Avenue, not too far from Riverside there. That is cleared up. We also at one point had two separate crashes here on Palmer. We now just have this one in the Dessaw area, just east of Walnut Forest here in North Austin. So this one is still remaining on Harris Branch Parkway at Palmer Lane. So just really been kind of seeing some congestion along that Palmer area so far today. Other than that, seeing our typical slowdowns coming in from South Austin, but we have not had a crash for this stretch yet this morning, which I will always call a victory. And even that slowdown I was noticing coming in from Cedar Creek, approaching Mustang Ridge, is also looking a lot better as well. And you know what? It doesn't sound like we're hitting triple digits, so we're just wins across the board today.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hot still. 96 for our high temperature, hot and humid, and we'll be feeling like we're in the triple digits by this afternoon for several locations. Your Monday's going to be pretty quiet. We're waking up to some cloud cover. I expect some sunshine to return for this afternoon and just a 10% chance for a stray shower. A lot of us will stay dry again today, but a couple areas getting lucky with a quick little downpour. Notice we're quiet as we take you through most of your Monday. This is about it for the coverage. Most of us will be dry as far as those showers and storms go today, but tomorrow we're going to see that rain chance bump up a little bit more for your Tuesday. So more of us likely seeing some showers, possibly a storm or two, especially along and east of I-35 for tomorrow. I do think though even some of our eastern hill country counties, you'll have a chance of seeing one of those quick passing downpours for your Tuesday. Temperatures come down briefly for Tuesday and Wednesday thanks to that rain chance before we dry things out and heat things up for Friday and the weekend with highs returning to 97 degrees.
All right, welcome back, or good morning for the very first time. You're watching Daybreak Plus, streaming free on your television. My name happens to be Brian Maines.
And I'm Hannah Rucker. Happy Monday, everyone. It's 7:27 now. Millions of Americans are facing a dangerous start to the work week. Temperatures in some areas set to soar to the triple digits. And a lot of these folks, well, they're not used to that.
They're not. We're used to it around here, but some of these places don't see this kind of weather. The heat expected to put some serious stress on a large part of the nation's power grid. Here's ABC's Allison Kosick.
This morning, more than 150 million Americans are on alert for extreme heat.
It's 100+ degrees in Vegas, but I think I'm sweating more from the humidity here in Philly.
From the Midwest to the East Coast, feel like temperatures are expected to top 100 degrees. D.C. could feel like 109 today. Some school districts in the Northeast switching to half-day schedules. The demand for electricity with ACs blasting is expected to hit the highest level in 14 years. PJM, the nation's largest regional grid operator, issuing a maximum generation emergency alert.
Valley, something's going on over here.
Sweltering temperatures forcing delays in Major League Baseball. Cincinnati Reds player Ellie De La Cruz falling ill during a game against the Cardinals. And in Chicago, Mariners pitcher Trent Thornton and an umpire had to be treated for heat-related illnesses. New York's governor issuing a state of emergency for more than 30 counties after heavy rain and dangerous flash flooding slammed parts of the state. Outside Utica, at least 3 people were killed, including 6-year-old twins. The violent weekend of weather stretching across the country. 6 people are dead and 2 are missing after strong winds and large waves capsized this boat in Lake Tahoe.
Holy cow.
And in Florida, onlookers shocked as they spotted these double water spouts off the Gulf Coast. Meanwhile, severe storms are possible later from Kansas to northern Michigan. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Yeah, it is a hot one, especially across the Mid-Atlantic to the Great Lakes, all the way down to the Mississippi River Valley. We have millions of Americans under heat alerts with heat advisories in orange, all those extreme heat warnings lining up and down the coast, the eastern seaboard from South Carolina to North Carolina, all the way up through parts of New England. Here locally in the state of Texas, while we're hot and we're humid, we do not have any heat advisories, at least here locally in central Texas, and at least for the good majority of the state, other than that far eastern corner. Temperatures for us today, we're back into those middle 90s, currently waking up to some low 70s out across the hill country. We're at 72 for Llano, 74 for Blanco, I-35 corridor, 78 degrees for Georgetown, 75 for San Marcos, with middle 70s out across the coastal plains. Currently dry too. We had just a quick stray shower that moved through yesterday for some of us. Some areas, I know downtown Austin had a quick little shower that moved on through. We're not going to see much today, but still could be looking at a stray shower at times. Across the area, the only part, at least for the Lone Star State, dealing with activity is out across the western portion of the area, and a little shower activity out across the coast, but most of us currently dry. As for today, here locally, a couple passing clouds. I wouldn't rule out a stray shower developing after about 3 o'clock this afternoon, but again, coverage is going to be very spotty, very hit or miss. Highs today back to 96 degrees. I am tracking, though, a higher chance to see some showers and storms for tomorrow and even Wednesday. We've got a little bit of a change in our weather pattern, which I'll be breaking down coming up in just a bit, and then show you some hotter conditions we're also tracking by late in the week. That's all coming up.
Thanks so much, Casey, and a good Monday morning to you, Central Texas. I hope y'all had a wonderful, restful weekend, and now we got to get you back to work today. And I'll tell you what, you really shouldn't have a major issue getting around. It has been pretty quiet so far today, just the way we like it. If really all of my incidents were a lot more earlier in the morning, and now it's just quieted down gradually. At 7:31, here's a live look now at I-35 where it meets with 183. And as you can see, just a lot of space out there as we're heading out the door. They're getting ready to clear up our remaining crash on Palmer. We had 2 separate ones earlier. Now we're just down to this one at Harris Branch Parkway, and that's really the only major hiccup as of right now, aside from our typical stretch kind of approaching that William Cannon area at Bluff Springs, but really hasn't even been that bad coming in from South Austin today. So we'll certainly take that. And if you're coming in from Manor, we're also seeing some slowdowns in the westbound lanes. Pretty typical as we're inching into this 8 a.m. hour at 39 miles per hour for us there. Minor slowdowns in Round Rock at 42 miles per hour southbound right now on I-35. And then Buda, we are coming in at 27 miles per hour and 34 minutes, and that'll get you from Buda near that Main Street area into downtown Austin. So far this morning, Mopac is also looking pretty good, under 20 minutes so far, and that's from 45 to downtown Austin this morning.
Well, that sounds pretty good. All right, how about this? A new medical study highlighting the impact hearing loss could have on your overall health.
Addressing hearing loss could reduce the risk of dementia as well. Melissa Don from ABC has that in today's Medical Minute.
Johns Hopkins researchers say up to 32% of dementia cases may be preventable by treating hearing loss. In a new study, they found that dementia risk stayed the same regardless of how mild or severe a person's hearing issues. It suggests that even mild hearing loss can negatively impact thinking in the long run. The study also found that a good percentage of people underestimate hearing difficulties, and some don't even realize there's a problem. Protecting your brain is just one more good reason to protect your hearing. So turn the volume down when you can and wear hearing protection when you go to concerts, clubs, and other loud settings. If you're finding it harder to hear, ask your doctor about getting your hearing tested at your next checkup. And if difficulty hearing comes on suddenly at any age, a visit with your doctor can make sure something serious isn't the cause. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
I worry about my right ear because we have these little IFBs where we hear everyone, and I think I turned mine up a little too high, and I'm starting to struggle on this side.
I'm sorry, what?
What was that? What was
Yeah, mine's the
That's
same
me
way.
all the time.
Mine's on the left side, but you're right. I do find myself saying, what?
Yeah.
What was that? A lot more than I used
Well,
to.
and then, I mean, we had Walkmans growing up, but iPads too. I feel like now these little things are right into your ears.
The AirPods go right on in there.
Yep.
You can't be doing good things.
Well, at least we'll all be able to, yeah. Anyways, we'll just figure it out.
All right, this is an amazing story. A doctor in Florida successfully performed surgery on a man who was more than 6,800 miles away. Dr. Vipul Patel performed the first ever transcontinental robotic telesurgery earlier this month. He used a robot actually to perform the surgery on the patient who had stage 1 prostate cancer in the African country of Angola.
What we've done today allows us to operate in times of pandemic, maybe in times of war, but it also allows us to operate in underserved areas, places where they were just never going to get this kind of care. I think we should do a
So he was in Florida, the man was in Angola. More than 10,000 miles of fiber optic network cable was used to ensure a seamless connectivity. So they didn't really do it over Wi-Fi. It was by the fiber cable. The patient is now recovering well, they say, and is in good spirits.
This gives me a lot of hope, though, for the future. You know, there's so many people that are sick and need this help, and, you know, it's heading in a good direction with the medical advancements, I feel.
And let's hope that they can continue to progress on that. You're right. This is an amazing thing to have done, but it's such a rarity now.
Right.
It'd be cool, like you said on the news earlier, if they could do this, like, say, from Austin to a rural community that might not have the capability to have this kind of advanced surgical procedure done, to have it just done by a robot.
A need for it even in our own state. So really interesting conversation there. And with kids home from school, parents need easy, satisfying, and healthy snacks. And parents may think snack bars, you know, these cute little ones are sold for kids and more nutritious than cookies, but are they really?
Not really all of them. Consumer Reports examined some of those claims to reveal the truth about kids' snack bars. Kids' snack bars may seem like the perfect option for smaller appetites. They go anywhere and can live at the bottom of their backpack for days.
The average kids bar is about 1 ounce and 115 calories, while the average adult bar is about 2 ounces and 210 calories.
But do they deliver the nutritional boost your kids need? Consumer Reports nutrition experts looked at 17 popular kids' snack bars to find out which are truly healthy snacks and which are just dressed up in healthy-looking packages. Some were just okay. Take Earth's Best Organic Sunny Day Strawberry Snack Bar. It has very few whole grains and a lot of added sugars for a very small bar. The first ingredient of Larabar Bakes Kids Chocolate Chip Cookie Bar is buckwheat, a whole grain. But of the 17 Consumer Reports tried, it's also the bar with the most added sugars.
Ideally, you want to look for a bar that's made with oats or another whole grain and contains few processed ingredients.
Like Cerebelli Smart Bars, organic sweet potato blueberry banana made with dates, oats, sweet potato, sunflower, seed butter, and pumpkin seeds, and no added sugars. Or if chocolate is your kid's thing, they might just like junkless, chewy chocolate chip granola bars made with whole grain oats. And while it might have a bit more sugar than other bars CR looked at, it has a fairly simple ingredient list.
You can even make your own. There are a lot of recipes online, and when you make them yourself, you can control the ingredients like the sugar or the sodium.
Don't want to bake? Your kids can mix up some trail mix using their favorite whole grain cereal, dried fruit, and nuts. Just add a scoop of single-serving baggies so you're ready the next time those little tummies rumble.
Now I'm questioning everything I consumed. I was telling him earlier, I think I had a Pop-Tart every single morning.
What's your
That can't be
Pop-Tart?
good.
What's your favorite flavor?
I like the classic cinnamon.
Cinnamon's the best. Amen.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But I'm
love,
like, it's a pastry. It's not a proper breakfast.
It's more of a cookie than a breakfast.
It is.
You know, I love those little, when I was a kid, Little Debbie's. All the Little Debbie, whatever it was, I liked them. The Star Crunch, the whatever those were.
Which one was the brownie with the colors in it? That was also Debbie's.
Oh, that was that the Swiss Swiss roll?
Classic brownie.
Cosmic.
Cosmic.
Oh, that's it.
Okay, there you
KC
go.
for the win.
Is that what you have for breakfast? No.
Yep.
Really? Yeah. We just didn't know.
Every day for actually lunch, dessert, like literally every day.
You had ice cream every day?
No, the cosmic brownie.
Yeah.
The brownies, yeah.
With the little colorful things on top.
Yep.
What's your go-to now? What's your snack now?
She's a yogurt girl.
Yogurt? Yeah.
I think I should be sitting over there. It doesn't say I should be yet on the right now.
Your mic's hot. We can hear you.
I'm just over here from the peanut gallery chiming in.
Just chiming in. Hey there. Okay.
What do you like, Hannah? What is your go-to?
What do I eat? I'm just like a little bird. I will get, let's see, I'm eating popcorn today.
Popcorn's good. That's a good one, yeah.
I'm trying to be better about packing though. You're so good on the fruit.
I love fruit.
Do you chop it all up or you just,
On Saturdays or Sundays, I get a pineapple, a cantaloupe. I like to cut them up so I have them all week, you know?
Yes.
I don't know how healthy that is to keep it in the fridge all week, but it tastes good.
Good. Okay, yeah. All about the meal prep. Okay.
All right, let's talk a little sports. You know, that's one of my favorite things in addition to cantaloupe. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the champions of the NBA. Game 7 was a good one last night, at least for a while. The Thunder beat the Pacers by 12, 103-91. Now, along with being the regular season most valuable player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was also named the Finals MVP. Here's what he had to say after the game last night.
As a kid, you dream, and every kid dreams, but you don't ever really know if it's going to come true. And I'm just glad and happy that my dreams have been able to come true.
SGA joins an elite list of just 11 players to win the regular season and Finals MVP awards in the same season. Very impressive. And I liked it too. He took a lot of extra time just to sign all the little autographs last night, and it makes a difference. Going back to what we were talking about last week, kind of pouring into that next generation and the fans that have followed him along the way.
And I'm so happy for them. You know, their fans, that team moved from Seattle to Oklahoma City, I guess about 15, 16 years ago. So they've been waiting. They've been showing up. They've been cheering for that team, and now they have that trophy and the parade to come with it pretty soon, I'm sure, in Oklahoma City.
I always love the parade. It's fun.
That's going to be fun. You know, the finals might not have really been the biggest NBA story, though, from the weekend.
Craziness. Yesterday, the Houston Rockets made a trade with the Phoenix Suns for former Longhorn Kevin Durant. He's coming back to Texas. KD found out about the trade. This is just insane. He was on the stage at a Fanatics Fest event, New York City. Fans saw the news on social media and started shouting out to him. Oh, by the way, here's what the 15-time All-Star had to say about the move.
You know, when people could just hang your career in the balance like that and just choose what they want to do with your career, it's a nerve-wracking feeling, but being able to kind of dictate what you want to do and then being with a team that values you, and I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to take good care of him coming back to Texas. The Phoenix Suns get Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, and 5 other second-round picks. The move makes sense on the court, but also for Durant's personal life, which is cool. Recently the Rockets hired Katie's college teammate, DJ Augustin, in front office role, and another lifetime Longhorn, Royale Ivy, is an assistant coach on staff. So, good to have some familiar faces near you.
That is going to be fun to watch right here in the state of Texas for sure. Comedian Keegan-Michael Key had some fun at the Fanatics Fest over the weekend. He dressed up as Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman. He looks pretty good. He showed up for the event to take some, not quite as in as good a shape as Rodman, but he showed up anyway to the meet and greet with the former basketball player. They called him the Worm, Dennis Rodman. There he is. He still looks pretty good, too.
He does. And that's what I think is fun about the NBA. There's so many quirky, unique players, and I like when they really lean into that, because that's what sets you apart.
Their own brand and their own thing. No, it's cool. It is cool.
Dennis Rodman is definitely done. He's like a little tornado everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
He played a long time, too. When you think about all the teams he played for over the years, he spent some time with the Spurs, in fact, to have the hair color, and all the the bad boy with Detroit all those years.
Do you remember him on The Apprentice? I just remember him.
I do remember that.
That was a chaotic time. That entire show was crazy.
I've forgotten he was on The Apprentice. I bet KC would have done good on The Apprentice.
You would
I've
have.
actually never watched that show before.
You never seen it?
Never seen it before.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Where could you? I'm sure one of these streaming places
Oh
have
yeah,
it.
I'm sure they have like reruns and everything.
I bet. Yeah,
I'll
I
watch
bet
that.
it
Put it on
does.
the list.
Yeah, you're good with helping with the strategy though, especially with the weather.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, we don't need much strategy to predict today's weather. It is going to be kind of just copy and paste of what we had yesterday. Some clouds to start, just as we had yesterday, and then eventually we'll see the chance for a stray shower by this afternoon. Still just tracking typical mid to late June heat. Those temperatures running at and above, slightly above average. Tomorrow is when I'm expecting some changes. We're going to see a little bit of a higher rain chance as we head into tomorrow and also Wednesday. And then eventually, as we dry things out yet again, we're talking about a late week warm up ahead. For right now, temperatures out the door, you're at 78 degrees out of the airport, 78 for Camp Mabry. Those dew points up there in the middle 70s right now, with those winds currently light at about 4 miles per hour. I'm not expecting as breezy of conditions for today compared to what we've had for the past couple days. Temperatures out the door out in the hill country are at 73 for Mason and Llano, 76 degrees for Burnett, upper 70s up and down I-35. Coastal Plains currently sitting in those middle and upper 70s as well. We are dry, not anticipating much in terms of rain today, but some changes arrive tomorrow, all thanks to what's going on in the Gulf. Notice this little swirl that we're picking up on our water vapor satellite. This is an upper level area of low pressure. It's actually called a tropical upper tropospheric trough, which is basically just a fancy word for an area of low pressure about 10,000 to 8,000 feet high in the 18,000 feet high in the atmosphere. This is going to be sliding westward as we head into today. Eventually, it'll be arriving across the coast and then South Texas as we get into tomorrow. This is a little kind of wave and blip of energy that is going to help bump up our rain chances a little bit more for Tuesday and Wednesday. Some of that moisture coming in from the Gulf, coupled with that little wave of energy, that's going to lead to about a 20% chance for some showers and storms. So a little bit of a difference from what we've had. Notice that coverage increases, especially across our eastern zones for the next couple days after today, before we start to head into a more kind of typical drier pattern for Thursday and certainly for Friday. Today we won't see much, partly cloudy sky. Could see just a chance for a stray shower for some areas as we head into this afternoon, but most of us won't see any rain today. Partly cloudy as we head into tonight. Tomorrow should be off to a dry start for your Tuesday, but look at what we have as we head into the afternoon. Look at how that coverage picks up pretty nicely as we start to see that moisture return, that little blip of energy helping pop up some of these showers and storms, especially if you're east of I-35. Coastal Plains, you'll have the highest chance of seeing some of this, but I do think we have a pretty solid chance of seeing a few of these cross I-35 and even cross into some of our especially eastern hill country counties for your Tuesday. Wednesday, also going to be bringing similar coverage. We'll see a chance for some additional spotty showers and storms with that rain chance at about a 20% chance before that little wave of energy, it moves away, and then we start to dry things up heading into Thursday, Friday, and the weekend ahead. 7-day rainfall totals, this pretty much paints the story of who will have the better chances for these showers and storms. Again, it's going to be the further eastern coastal plains areas where you could be looking at up to about a quarter of an inch where some of those downpours happen to fall. Lower rain chances the farther west you go. 96 degrees for a high temperature today as we head into tonight. We're back down into the middle 70s. Winds light out of the southeast at 5 miles per hour. Allergy count, grass at medium, weeds low, hickory low, and mold at high today. 7-day forecast after Wednesday. Thursday we start to dry things out again. That little wave moves on out. Friday, Saturday will be dry as we head into the weekend and warmer with highs back to 97 degrees.
Another steamy week loading in. Thank you so very much, KC. And a couple updates on my end, but still, I'll tell you what, looking really good for a Monday morning. Just inching into the 8 a.m. hour here and really still low activity aside from some of these patches of stop and go. So in South Austin, we now have a little bit of car trouble that's causing things to slow down in the southbound lanes right there where it meets with FM 1626 through Onion Creek. So kind of feeling that congestion on both sides of the highway coming and going. Yep, you can see lighting up red in those northbound lanes coming in from South Austin today. So really slowing things down if you are heading northbound through Bluff Springs right now and feeling that in the southbound lanes as well. Let's take a look around though, kind of seeing area-wide slowdowns, starting to feel that in Cedar Park, in Round Rock, Manor, especially in those westbound lanes. But as far as crashes are concerned, we're looking pretty good today. We had, I'd say the main event was earlier this morning on I-35 southbound out at Woodland Ave, and that's all cleared up. But I will tell you 34 minutes if you're trying to get getting to downtown from Buda right now. Under 20 minutes if you are traveling southbound from Round Rock, and that'll get you to 183. And then still under 20 minutes on Mopac as well. So really not too crazy right now as we are starting things off on this Monday. And as always, get out to the airport early if you're leaving us here in Austin.
All right, Hannah, thank you so much. You know, it's not football season just yet, but for one high school quarterback in Nebraska, there's no off season when you've got 2 arms to train. Danny New introduces us to Mikey Gow, the ambidextrous quarterback.
This is the first ever ambidextrous quarterback.
It may be football off-season, but for Mikey Gow of Bellevue, Nebraska, there's no room for downtime when you have 2 arms to work on.
They're here. You could get it this way or you could get it this way. I've shown that in like the videos that we've made.
He's making throws that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen could never make.
In the past few weeks, the rising high school senior has been picking up millions of views online for possibly being the first ambidextrous quarterback prospect. However, this is not Mikey's first time going viral.
His name is Mikey Gow.
His rare duality also got him quite a bit of attention from SportsCenter his sophomore year. And 2-time NFL MVP Lamar Jackson even shared the video, writing #1 overall pick with not 1 but 4 fire emojis. But Mikey was not born ambidextrous. His first love was baseball. When he came down with a right arm injury and faced a year of not being able to pitch, Mikey became obsessed with his left arm.
Putting on your pants, if you put them on with your right leg, you switch it over to your left leg. You have to think that.
So you were 9 years old tricking yourself to be a lefty? You already had all these thoughts?
Oh, yeah.
Now just dedicated to football, Mikey has mostly been throwing righty in high school, since many coaches are still a little skeptical. As his dad says,
whatever they want to do is what he'll do.
Initially, he had picked up interest from top programs like Notre Dame and Michigan. But after breaking his wrist his sophomore year, Mikey says his momentum has just not been the same.
It's kind of hard to get in late.
But he is still getting Division I interest after winning a district championship last season. And now going into his final one, his coaches are apparently building a whole offense around his 2 not-so-secret weapons.
I think I just got to go out there and prove.
By the way, Major League Baseball has had an ambidextrous pitcher, Pat Venditti, whom they had to make new rules for before his debut in 2015. And Mikey actually met him when he was growing up, and they even traded gloves. A historic moment. Maybe they even gave each other high 10. High 10. High 10. In New York for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
He's entertaining himself, isn't he?
I've been trying to brush my teeth with the other hand because that's what you're supposed to do, and I even struggle with that.
Wait, why?
Well, apparently it's good for your brain to try to get your other side working because we rely so much on one hand, but it's hard, so I can't even fathom being able to throw both hands.
I had a friend who, at an early age, his dad literally forced him to use his left, because he's a baseball player, use his left hand and become left-handed because it gets it's better for baseball, but like naturally he's right-handed, but like was like, no, you're going to use your left hand.
And just fought against the tide.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pretty crazy.
I'm not ambidextrous, but I do things with different hands. I write with my left hand, but I throw a baseball with my right hand.
Oh, that's cool.
There's things like this. So my brain is totally screwed up.
No, that's good. I think that's a good thing.
I don't know.
It's like more balanced that way then.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'm balanced. There you go. I'm going to use that one from now on.
I'm curious to see, though, where the corn-fed boy goes for the future.
Corn-fed? Yeah.
In Nebraska, yep.
Good player.
All right, y'all. A lot of Americans are feeling a bit too wrapped up in subscriptions. I know I'm one of them. I really think I need to evaluate how many I have because a new survey by CNET finds that 6 out of every 10 people are considering cutting back on these growing subscriptions. And the average American spends $1,000 a year on these subscriptions, everything from streaming, digital storage, all of it. And yeah, I think I need to, once again, do a quick check-in because I've got quite a few.
That's why Daybreak Plus is so important. You don't have to pay anything.
Oh,
it's free, you know. Just subscribe to Daybreak Plus, right?
Beautiful. It really is easy to use. I have it at home, and I just keep it on all day. I like it.
Those subscriptions, they do add up after a while. You're like, wait, am I getting all of these things every month I'm paying for this?
You forget about them. You don't even realize like what you're subscribed to, and then all of a sudden you start checking your bills, and you're like, oh.
Well, my issue is there'll be like a certain documentary or something, and then I'll download it for like the trial period of the week. I'm like, I really wanted to see it.
Yeah, and then you forget to cancel the trial.
Yes.
Yep. You got to put the little reminders on your phone.
Yes.
That's the key to remind you for sure.
Because on the shift in general, I start to forget things.
Me too. Me too.
Like, what day is it? No,
You're not old enough for that yet. You
I know, I'm scared. Let me not put that on the
You still
universe.
got many years
I remember
left
everything. It's fine.
before that goes. All right, here are 3 things to know before we leave you this morning. The fate of a bill that would ban consumable hemp products, THC, in Texas has been decided, at least for now, after staying mostly silent about the plans for Senate Bill 3. The governor, Greg Abbott, vetoed that bill, Senate Bill 3, just minutes before the midnight deadline last night. Abbott says lawsuits would have tied that bill up for years in the courts, so he wants a new plan, one that treats THC more like alcohol, to try and keep it away from kids. Meantime, local sellers of THC worried about shutting down, and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who pushed the ban, slammed the veto, says more is coming at a press conference with him later today. We'll let you know how that goes here on KVUE.
And today, a group of Texans against President Trump's budget bill will meet with Senator John Cornyn. They're urging the senator to vote against it. They say the bill will hurt the middle class and raise the national debt while giving tax breaks to the rich. Opponents say the bill could cut funding to Medicaid and SNAP food assistance while also rolling back clean energy incentives. A version of the bill has already passed the House. Republican leaders in the Senate hope to pass it by July 4th.
And Governor Abbott says he's raising the state's readiness level amid international tension. In a statement released over the weekend, the governor said, quote, Texas is elevating the readiness of our Department of Public Safety troopers and Texas National Guard, increasing patrols around high-risk locations and ensuring our state is fully prepared to address any threat, end quote.
Thank you so much for being here with us on this Monday. Let's go ahead and get another look at the weather.
Yeah, here we go. Today, 96 degrees, chance for a stray shower. Tomorrow, we're going to start to see some welcome changes. That's going to include a higher chance for some showers and possibly a couple storms. Tuesday and Wednesday, that rain chance bumps up to a 20% chance. I think it'll be even higher out across the coastal plains. We're looking at temperatures coming down a little bit before we dry up and then again warm things up for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
All right, thanks for being with us here on Daybreak Plus. Please be with us tomorrow. Daybreak begins bright and early at 4:30, Hannah, 4:30 in the morning. Boy, that's early.
Ooh, we'll be there one way or another. Here we are, and we'll see you again, of course, on KVUE Plus starting at 7 to 8 a.m. Have a wonderful Monday.